Hey everybody, Paul Wachowski. Welcome to Nebraska Landlord. So we've been talking about legislative bills that are before the Nebraska Legislature for a little over 2 months. Almost all of them that I wrote about in the Nebraska Landlord newsletter, pretty much all of them are stuck in committee. And if there is a bill that you oppose down at the Nebraska Legislature, when it's stuck in committee, that's a good thing. However, there are a couple of these legislative bills that we've discussed that have made it out of committee, and they're making their way towards, I think, final passage. We'll see what happens. One that we've talked about extensively is LB236. This was introduced by State Senator Rob Dover. He represents the Norfolk area. He's a real estate broker. He is a property manager. I don't know for sure, but I presume he owns rental properties and investment properties himself. I don't know for sure. However, if LB 266 passes, it would prohibit, with a few exceptions, but prohibit local jurisdictions, cities, towns, counties from implementing rent control. That is a good thing. Rent control, listen, the jury's out on this. There are numerous studies, objective studies, that have said that if there's one thing that decimates housing stock, it is rent control. That is just the facts. And when you have dilapidated housing stock, that leads to high crime, low tax base, bad schools, etc. So there's a lot of reasons, whether you're a real estate investor or manager or landlord, that you should support this bill. I mean, there's a lot of reasons outside of the investor community. So LB 266 is on select file. It's made it out of committee. I think at some point they're going to debate it and vote on it. So I wanted to let you know, LB 266, if you support LB 266 that would prohibit local governments from imposing rent control, you need to reach out to your state senator and just be simple. Email them and say, please support LB 266. I'll leave a link down below in case you don't know who your state senator is, where you can find out. The next legislative bill I want to talk about is LB185. Senator Rob Dover also introduced this one. This one has broad support, including many in the tenant community. This basically modernizes the way we serve legal notices, both landlord to tenant, tenant to landlord. Right now, under the statute, there's only two legal acceptable methods of serving our notices to each other. It's either by hand delivery or first-class mail. However, in the industry, with technology and all of that, many of us have property management softwares that send emails. We send text, messaging, those type of things. Technically, it's not in compliance with the statute. And what happens is we put that into our lease, that these are the ways that we're going to communicate with one another when serving our notices. And if there's ever an issue in front of a judge, some judges are okay with it as long as it's clearly defined in the lease. Others will say it's not, it's not allowed under the statute or provided for under the statute, and they throw it out. LB 185 would modernize this process where it would allow, the email notices to be delivered, the text message emails, etc. So that's another one that I think it's a great thing no matter what side you're on. In fact, tenants like it too, because then most people communicate with text now. So LB 185 has made it out of committee. It's on the select file as well, and it's headed towards passage. And so that's good news. LB 235 is the other one I want to talk about. Now, this has been made a priority bill by one of the senators. That means it is out of committee for all intents and purposes because it's guaranteed a debate. I think this one has a little less chance of passing than the other two, but you never know when you're down in the legislature. This is a minor tweak to how landlords and managers proceed after an eviction. So you go into court, the judge rules in favor of the housing provider, the eviction is granted, the writ of restitution is signed. Then what happens is the constable or the sheriff's department, depending on what county you're in, they have up to 10 days to go and do the eviction if the tenants are still in the unit. It can be day 1, 2, 3, 7, 10. They just have 10 days to get there. But they have to get there and do that within a 10-day period under the statute the way it is now currently. If LB235 passes, it would flip it. So instead of up to 10 days, then the constable or the sheriff would have to wait 10 days. So that means the tenant's going to get essentially 10 extra days of occupancy in that rental unit that they just were evicted from. So instead of, again, just to recap, right now it's not more than 10 days. If it passes, it would be not less than 10 days. The final outcome is the tenant's going to get 10 extra days to stay there if they want to. Those are the 3 legislative bills right now in front of the legislature out of about the dozen that I've been following that's not stuck in committee and moving forward in the process. So as these things change, I will definitely let you know. Don't forget, the best way to stay informed, sign up for the Nebraska Landlords newsletter. Just go to nebraskalandlord.com, put in your email address, subscribe to the newsletter, boom, you're done. That's all I got, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.